Absolutely fantastic news for the 49ers here from the shores of Huntington Lake. They've re-signed their most important free agent, kicker Eddy Piñeiro, to an absolute bargain of a deal. 4 years, $17 million. That comes out to $4.25 million per year. To give you some perspective, that ranks 14th of all kickers in the NFL. It ranks 14th, yet Eddy Piñeiro is the second best kicker of all time when it comes to career field goal percentage, just under 90%. Ahead of even somebody like Justin Tucker. He's behind only Cameron Dicker. And Eddy Piñeiro finished number 1 in the whole league this past season with the 49ers, making 96.6% of his kicks. He was 28 of 29 on field goals. The only miss came against the Indianapolis Colts. From 64 yards, it hit off the crossbar. So at a position that was absolutely vital to the 49ers last year, you remember how much Eddy Piñeiro supercharged the team and the special teams unit following the 49ers cutting Jake Moody. At a position that the 49ers had to hold serve at, they have now taken 2 parts of last season's kicking operation and executed successful contract extensions. John Weeks, the long snapper, is back for a year. Eddy Piñeiro is here for the long haul. 4 years for Eddy P. Now the 49ers just need to get their holder back. That is the punter, Thomas Morstead, but they've been working actively with Morstead on a contract extension. So a little bit more on Eddy. I'm just showing you guys where I'm at right now. This is Huntington Lake, High Sierra, engulfed in snow. I mean, it snowed a lot here, but it's starting to melt, and over the dead of winter, the lake is frozen over. Now, though, it is not frozen over. Now, it's almost ready to swim in. Almost. I use that term very liberally. You could see the ski resort, China Peak, out there in the distance, right above. I got to point that way. Yeah, I just skied there. Came down here to Huntington Lake. We'll have more video content from here. Ate a really, really good steak sandwich in Huntington Lake. And maybe in a couple months, yes, I can swim in here, but I don't think I'm going to do it today. With Piñeiro, he's got $10 million in guaranteed money. And I think that this is the ultimate team move from Eddy. He signed before free agency and the tampering window even opened. He might have been offered more by other teams, but I talked to him a lot this past year. He really enjoyed the 49ers building. He liked the locker room. He liked the camaraderie. Most players who come through like the 49ers building. They don't mind sticking around. And he wanted to get this business done before it got stressful. And he wanted to stay with the 49ers, and he put his money where his mouth is. The 49ers are a team that has paid out more A-list contracts than any other NFL franchise ever since John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan took over 10 years ago, right? This is the 10th season of John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. The 49ers have gone crazy with the big money, and for that reason, they've got to be careful with how they spend. Every million counts. So the fact that Eddy Piñeiro was willing to sign, consider the fact that the top 10 kickers in the NFL by pay, they're all over $5 million per year. Piñeiro's the number 2 kicker of all time in field goal percentage and number 1 last season, 28 of 29. I think he could have easily asked for more than $5 million. The 49ers wanted this under $5 million because of the problems with the bigger picture salary cap. And Eddy Piñeiro obliged them before the start of free agency. So I think that this is a team first move for Eddy, and I think that keeping the entire kicking operation, that is snapper, holder, and kicker, is very important. It should open up enough room to get Thomas Morstead back for one more season. And the 49ers, who improved from dead last to number 2 in special teams efficiency last year, should be in good position to maintain a good special teams unit in 2026. That was, I don't want to say it was underrated, but it was one of the biggest developments for the 49ers in 2025 was that they were terrible in special teams before that, but even though they had a bunch of injuries on offense and defense, they were the best or the second best special teams unit throughout almost all of the season in 2025, and that allowed them to win those 13 games. That's why I say that Eddy Piñeiro probably was their most important free agent, and they get him back. And just a cool story for him as a person. His dad was a professional soccer player. Eddy was a soccer player before he turned into kicker, and this was a football kicker. This was in high school where college recruiters came out, and Eddy Piñeiro was just, I guess, on the field where they were looking to recruit people, and they saw this soccer player, and they told him to line up and kick a field goal. Like, let's see what you have. You're a soccer player, but obviously he was an acclaimed soccer player, and they wanted him to kick something like a 40 to 50 yard field goal. So they had the ball at what, the 30 or 40 yard line, or somewhere near midfield, but on one of the sides of the 50. And Eddy turned around and lined up to kick the opposite way, the longer way of what the recruiters wanted. And they thought that this guy was crazy. It's like, why are you lining up to kick a 65 yarder? Like, are you just trying to make fun of us? This guy's not a serious person. And they almost turned around and walked out, but Eddy wound up and kicked it, and he drilled the 60-plus yarder, the first time he'd ever kicked the football. And they're like, oh, well, crap, we better offer this guy a scholarship. And that's where Eddy Piñeiro's journey on the gridiron began. Obviously, he was a good college kicker, turned into a good NFL kicker. Now he's the second best kicker of all time in field goal percentage, and he's kicking for the 49ers, and he's under contract for the next 4 years. Now, his dad, the professional soccer player, suffered a heart attack not all that long ago. And Eddy and his family, they're from the Florida area. His dad had not been able to see him play because he wasn't able to travel after the heart attack until the 49ers visited Tampa Bay in week 6 of the 2025 season. So his dad, an inspiration for Eddy. Eddy talks a lot about how his dad, the professional athlete himself, was his role model who helped him become the guy that he is today, now the big money kicker that he is today. His dad got to see him kick last year in Tampa Bay, back in his home state of Florida. And now his dad can celebrate in the offseason a 4-year, $17 million contract. So the 49ers taking care of business here before the legal tampering window begins. That opens up on Monday morning. So before then, we're just hanging out at Huntington Lake. You just got some good skiing. We got some premium content coming today here from the Sierra Nevada a little bit later, around sunset, that we're going to put up on the YouTube channel. We'll go live with it. And of course, we'll talk some Eddy, but we're going to talk about the 49ers. And I know the two best additions that the 49ers are going to procure this offseason. I will divulge those in a few hours when we do go live. But Huntington Lake, one little nugget about this place behind me. It's one of the best sailing lakes in the United States. The wind blows here from the Central Valley during the summer. You see a ton of sailboats, and it is a cool spot. All right, Eddy Piñeiro re-signs with the 49ers. We'll talk to you guys soon.